All right, hello again, everybody. How's it going? I don't know. I decided to do this little mini series here. I've had a lot of questions from people asking, whether it's private messages or on the comments of videos and stuff, like how to trade and like just random questions like when do you know when to get into stocks or like what does your gap scanner look like, and even just some friends of mine, they're interested in what I do and stuff. So I thought I'd make a little kind of an informal video lesson series. I don't know, there's gonna be like maybe 4 or 5 parts to it. I'll keep them really short, maybe like under 10 minutes. We'll see actually how long I end up rambling for, because we all know that I ramble for quite a while. So this first one was just gonna kind of be like an intro, kind of like my story about trading and what I use to trade, so my trading station. So I guess I'll start with. So I'm from Canada. I'm 2 hours away from Toronto, and I'm 25 years old right now. And I actually wasn't going to until last year. I didn't even know really what day trading was. I've been in and out of stocks before. Like I've traded. I've held on to Apple and Gilead and all of these other random pharmaceutical companies, and just stuff that like I held on to for a long time, like months or years. And then the whole marijuana stock craze came around. That started in 2016, when places in the States and stuff started to get their medicinal license to sell medicinal marijuana. So I've held on to those before, and recently, this past year when they went crazy, I made some money on them too. So I I had more of a longer term kind of horizon before, or outlook when it came to stocks. I didn't know you could actually trade stocks every day to make money and kind of have a daily income. So I was going through school. I was at university. I was studying, science stuff. I was in a lot of biology, medical kind of stuff. I was taking psychology courses. Um, the goal was to actually become a doctor or study medicine somewhere. So there's a lot of reasons that I decided not to. That's a whole another conversation in itself. But just due to some of my grades, I guess, which were pretty good, but just the way I set up my courses and the way that I took my courses in certain years meant that I couldn't use those years to apply to schools, in Canada or in the States. More so, I would have to go overseas, so like to the Caribbean. And I really wasn't ready to do this, study 24/7 for the next 6, 7, 8 years, just for the chance that I can come back to the States instead of staying there. And then on top of that, make my way back to Canada. So I really just wasn't ready to give up everything, everyone I know, my friends, my family, just the whole, just to do something that I'm not completely passionate about. And I do want to help people, I guess, and I think that's why I enjoy, at least, at the very least, making these videos and answering people's questions. But I don't think I could go through with that. So I was about to write my MCAT and all that stuff, and I got accepted to and I'm not sure if it was a crappy school, but it was a school that didn't require the MCAT, so I declined that, and right before I was going to write the MCAT, I actually started day trading. So my first my first kind of dabble in it was in a stock called I guess you can't see it, it's over here. I remember this because it was a hilarious trade. So the stock was VDRM, and I remember this because there's trading view. I remember this stock. I think it was like at like 3 or 4 cents or something, and there was like so much hype over it. It was like this penny stock that was being pumped, and I didn't really know what was going on. The fundamentals of the company actually looked okay. So I thought to myself, like, okay, well, let's put some money into this. I honestly can't remember which day it was. I remember buying at around 3 cents and selling around 4 cents. It was probably, so these are the daily charts, so it was probably one of these days. I remember I had OSAP money. I would not recommend doing this, investing it. So I put all of it in to the stock, and it was at like, let's just make up a number right now. It was around 4 cents at the time. I bought it in the morning, so right when the market opened, I had a market buy through my RBC broker, not even like an actual broker. To buy, I think it was $6,000 or $7,000 worth of it, and then 10 minutes later, I refresh it to go to sell it, and it says it's worth, 2,000 more than I initially invested, and I was like, holy shit! Like, what just like I didn't even know that was possible. So I market sell all of it, and I think I made less than that because of slippage, and I don't know where the stock was at the time. So I ended up making like between, let's just say $1,500. I know it was more than $1,000, but that's what kind of got me hooked. I was like, wow, you could like maybe there's an actual, not a science behind it, but like a strategy, and like maybe people do this all the time. Like you can make money doing that, and I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, it could have gone the other way, but that's really what got me hooked. So there was that. There's everyone's heard of the marijuana stocks when they went crazy. I sold a little early. I sold before this big push here because I really didn't know anything about trading, but I was buying in here, and I doubled and tripled down kind of towards the summer here, and I was selling up into this push, and I made some good money off of that. So that's right around when I was studying for my MCAT, and I was thinking of which schools I want to go to and all this stuff. And then I started working at a vehicle assembly plant for the entire summer, and they paid really well. It'd be 2 weeks in the mornings and 2 weeks in the afternoons. So on the afternoon shifts, I would trade with fake money every single morning. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was slowly learning through YouTube and just through experience, like just how to put out orders. I had buttons on my broker here, like right near my deep book buttons that would like buy shares and sell shares if I clicked it. I mean, now I use hotkeys, but then I didn't. I was buying on the ask and selling on the bid with these buttons. And then, once I discovered hotkeys and putting my shares up on the ask, that was like the greatest thing in the world. Just, it was a slow progression, and it was a lot of fun. So I did that for a couple months, and then I started using real money more often. The plant shuts down every summer for 2 weeks, so I was trading every day. I started out with real money. I started using a little too much money. I think I wasn't controlling my share size. It would be like hundreds or 500 or 100. Like I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't have like a strategy. And I pretty much lost everything I put in. It was a couple $1,000s, and the job that I had at the time, like I said, kind of paid for that, and that was fine. Like it sucked, but I knew that I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun, and I know that you can make a lot of money doing this, and I knew that I have the skill set and the kind of mindset or the personality to be able to do this if I just learn how to do it. So that is that. What else do I have on my list here? So yeah, I was working full-time and then trading part-time, and then I made the transition to trading full-time over the course of, say that was last summer. So I started paper trading in May or something, and then started using real money in July, August. Really started to use more just a couple months ago now, and for those who have been watching my videos, I have that spreadsheet. I've been keeping the spreadsheet since February when I started out with only 200 shares. I put myself in trader rehab because I was taking too big of losses, and I had no plan. I was just going in and out, random amounts of shares, just not having a plan. So since then, it's been history. I've had February is my first profitable month. It wasn't much. March, I had more profit. I had some really, really big days. I had a really big loss. April, I've started out April pretty good. I made 238 today, Canadian, or 185 US. That's pretty good for an hour or whatever worth of work. So every $100 you can make trading per day is about $25,000 a year, because there's around 252 trading days in the year. So if you can average, a couple $100 a day, you're making over $50,000 a year, and that's amazing. Well, that's pretty good to start out, at least. So that's what I'm doing with that. Yeah. So biggest reason I chose day trading over, medicine or any other job really is just simply freedom. So I work from home. I make my own hours. I'm my own boss and all that fun stuff. But you know, I have the flexibility to not only work when I want to, which is, you know, all of the time, because I don't want to take days off. I don't want to miss, you know, the market and stuff. I really enjoy what I do, so that part is good. But one of my biggest dreams, I guess, is to travel and trade at the same time, so I can like a working vacation, I guess. So let's say if I travel the world and stay in places for like months at a time, let's say somewhere in Europe or somewhere in Asia, all you have to do is account for the time difference for when the New York Stock Exchange opens at, you know, 9:30 in the morning Eastern. So in Europe, let's say that would be 2 or 3:30 p.m. And somewhere in Asia, that might be, you know, 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 p.m. So you can travel during the day, you can do whatever you want during the day, and then at nighttime, you know, you trade, and then you go to bed. I think that'd be amazing. So I can work anywhere with an internet connection. Not on this setup, and I don't have a traveling, like, trading station at the moment. I just trade with my desktop. So right now, I'll just bring a picture over. This isn't in my room right now, but this is the setup. I have 3 monitors. They're 24-inch. Keyboard and mouse. They're all like by the same brand. They're all BenQ monitors. The 2 on the sides here are 60 hertz, just kind of cheapo 1080p monitors, whereas the one in the middle here is like a 144 hertz. It's a much better monitor, not only because my trading, like my active trading, is on this monitor, but because I play a lot of games too, like video games, so I wanted a really good monitor for that, so that's why that one is in the middle. So another picture of this in my office right now. Sorry for these filters. I got these off of Snapchat or something, and I couldn't change the filter, but this is how it looks in my room right now. There's the 3 monitors here, and my computer's over there on the right over here. And yeah, I mean, I built the computer myself. It's got a really good graphics card, like a 1080. For those of you that know computer parts, it has a 8700K processor. I have 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 megahertz. A solid state drive. Let me look in there. What else is in there? It's liquid cooled. I do most of that for gaming, and you don't really need that powerful of a computer to trade, because it's mostly based off of internet stability, I'll call it, because you need a low ping and a stable internet to constantly receive and send the data, like the level 2 feeds, your orders, and all of that stuff. It needs to go to this New York Stock Exchange and back, like the information. It needs to be very, very quick. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what else I wanted to talk about. I have like a list here. This, like I said, was just the intro. I wanted to talk a little about my background, why I started trading, why I love trading, and kind of the setup that I'm using. So the next video that I'll be doing will be on my broker, my layout, so where I have all my charts on each monitor, why I have things where they are, and my hotkeys. So like the hotkeys that I use here, you can see there's a huge list of hotkeys that I use to buy and sell stocks. And also how I set up my scanners. So the scanners are the reason that I can find the stocks that are moving, you know, 200%. So SLS today, 153%. I think it was up more than, or close to 200% at one point. It was like 180%, I believe. So this scanner is constantly scanning the market. And when it finds things that meets my criteria, which I have here, then it shows up on the scanner, and then from there I can look at it and make the choice whether to go in it or not. So that's what I'll talk about in the next video. Just let me know if you have any questions or comments on this. I think it'll be fun. Like I said, there's going to be 5 parts, so this is the end of the first part. Thank you for watching.